So I'm super glad. I'm super thankful, and I'm super happy I get to be in here talking to you guys this time, unlike last time.
In terms of the game plan heading into this fight, was that how you guys envisioned the fight playing out? Because we've heard about Blood Diamond's skills in the gym, and even Israel Adesanya at his last press conference said, "I can't wait for you guys to see my teammates striking in there." So, is that how you envisioned this fight playing out when you did face him?
Yeah, so we were warming up in the back, and the first thing my brother told me was, "Hey, look out for the front kick. He's gonna come out. He'll either try to throw like a feint knee, which is the knee that comes up. That way, if I run into it, it can damage me on a takedown. Sorry. Or he'll throw that front teep." And so we expected him not to throw any like body teeps or leg teeps. If he's in a chop, he's in a chop at the legs. And I felt like because we talked about it, we utilized it, we envisioned it, that it worked out in my benefit because there was a couple of times where he's pretty close to throwing that front teep, and that's why I put my head out there a little bit, try to have him come back in and then have me close the distance, because when he's on one leg, he's not going to be as fast as he is on two. His hands were down, but that's their style. They're counter fighters, and I could tell. And that's another thing we talked about too, was how my corners, all three of them, were saying, "Hey, he's going to try to bait you to come in. That way he can throw his little short hooks." And we've seen that a lot with like Israel Adesanya. Israel doesn't really push forward; he counters, but he's so good at it that it looks like he's pressing the pace. And that's the same thing with Blood Diamond. That we knew that if he came in too heavy, he was going to be too heavy on his legs, and that's what helped me. I feel like was there was times where he came in a little too heavy, and I was able to get that body lock. But there's times too where I let him put me on the cage, and I was letting me just wear in his arms. We knew that his arms were going to get tired from the wrestling, so we just said wrestle, 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 grapple. First round had a good takedown. Second round, he definitely won that round. I told myself go ahead, allow myself to recover, and then third round, once I had that trapped arm body lock and went for the over under throw, I knew right then and there he was going to get back up, and I just told myself body lock, go for the submissions, throw punches, throw strikes, stay on top, do not let him get up. Because a striker is always dangerous, especially when they're tired and they're just throwing wild shots. So.
And then even when it seemed like he might have hurt you with that spinning back elbow momentarily, and he was pushing the pace, were you surprised that he was so willing to engage in the clinch against the fence? Because like you said, you were having a lot of success when you were clinching up with him.
Not really. I mean, if he thought he hurt me, then that's a good job on his part. I would have done the same thing too. But we were actually just talking about that right before we came in here. He's like, "Man, he kind of had you moonwalking, didn't he?" I was like, "Nah, I mean, in a sense he did, but I felt like I more so like caught my heel on the canvas, because when he landed it, I saw he fell on his ass too or something like that, but I was just more focused on making sure that I stood upright. And when he came back in, I just told myself, hey, be smart. He's going to come in. He's going to try to throw heavy. Let's not be dumb and just shoot for a takedown. Let's not be dumb and throw heavy shots without seeing what's going to go happen." So I allowed myself to just stay covered up, move when he was throwing the knees, don't let him land any knees to the head, and, stay composed for the most part.
And finally, is that a Shenron tattoo
Damn
on your
right,
shoulder?
damn right it is. I have the whole entire hope of the universe put on my chest too. So, I mean, you should remember that if you remember Goku versus Frieza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huge DBZ fan.
Ryan, congrats on the win, man. I heard you say some things to him at the end of the fight. What exactly were you telling him in those last seconds in the third round?
So, with like a minute to go, had him on the ground. I could just hear him breathing heavy. I was like, "Fuck, let's just push it, bro." He's like, "I'm tired." And as soon as he said that, I was like, "Fuck, I'm tired too, bro." So we were both tired. We were just talking. We were having fun. I told him, I was like, "Hey, you're a fun guy to fight against. We'll have to do this again in the future." And I literally apologized to him again while we were fighting. I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry for not making weight. You deserve better. I'll give you better next time." And as we're still fighting, punching each other, he's striking from the bottom, trying to throw elbows. I just pretty much said, I was like, "We'll do this again at 185, 170. You deserve to be here." And he does deserve to be here. It's not that his grappling's bad. Like, it's just one of those things he just needs to work on it more. But his striking's definitely good. We've seen that. There's a couple times where he threw that, it's like a drunken style left high kick. And it got onto me twice. It's like, it doesn't do a lot of damage, it felt like. And maybe that's just because I'm a fucking hard-headed person or something like that. But, he definitely has the striking capabilities of being in here. I understand why Izzy Adesanya, managed to find a way to get him into the UFC in the first place. I just say that, hey, you know what? Blood Diamond, work on that grappling. You did a good job, especially when he had me on the cage. He should have been doing more with it. His coaches, I can hear them screaming like, "No, you need to break off that clinch." He's trying to clinch with a guy who's wrestled his whole life. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to wrap my hands together, and as he's going, I'm just going to stay heavy on his arms. And I feel like that did a lot to help me in that third round, make it to where he couldn't push off as well as he did in the first round.
And you mentioned Adesanya. Did you actually hear him coaching him throughout the fight?
Oh, I heard his ass yelling. And who wouldn't, man? Who wouldn't? You know, that's his boy. Izzy and Blood Diamond, I've heard from people saying, like, they're like brothers. They got that, you know, brotherly love. And a lot of those guys, that's how it should be. If you're at any training camp, if you and your teammates are not, like, family, that's not your teammate, bro. Like, you'll have teammates where, like, you hang out, but you'll have teammates where you're calling each other brother at the end of the day, and you'll have, like, people being like, oh, you guys are brothers? Be like, no, motherfucker, it's just a fucking saying. But, yeah, for me, that's definitely a big thing right there, is making sure, like, you have people who are going to be close to you in your corner, people close to you in your training camp.
And lastly, for me, like, how do you summarize this whole week? Like, what kind of grade would you give yourself? I mean, it's your first UFC win, but you did miss weight. So, you know, how would you kind of wrap up this whole week for you?
I'll just say this, man. I talked to him afterwards, too. I did my darndest to cut that weight. Like, I didn't sleep. We started cutting weight the night before at 6 to 8 o'clock, and I cut 4 pounds. Like, I was running, treadmill, sauna suit, all that stuff, and I felt good. I was like, okay, cool. I'll go cut another, like, 4 or 5 pounds tonight. But I think, we spent like 3 hours cutting weight, and maybe only like 1.5 pounds or 2 pounds came off. And so my team just decided, dude, hey, whatever we got to do to try to make weight. And it's the same weight cut I've done, and I've said it in every other interview as well, but it's the same weight cut I've done since I was 19. So I had my first amateur fight when I was 19. It's the same water loading technique I've been doing since I was 19, and it just didn't work this time. So definitely going to use the UFC PI, talk to all those guys, and get a better, you know, body diagnostic test, see where my muscle density, my bone density is. 1.5 pounds, man, it sucks because I tried my hardest, and pretty much the doctor was telling me that if I would even try to cut that last 1.5 pounds, they wouldn't have let me fight. So I'm just glad my opponent told me, hey, like, I'm still going to go out. You know, it's 1.5 pounds. But like you said, too, like, so for weight cut performance, on the weight cut, I grade myself an F. I didn't make weight. First time ever, but I guess there's a first for everything, and I did try my hardest to make that weight. But for the performance overall, with how my body felt coming into this fight, like yesterday, straight up, I was puking, diarrhea, all that stuff, and I just told myself, hey, let's stay healthy. Let's just get a lot of electrolytes in my body, do whatever I got to do to heal up. All last night, I was sweating profusely, probably lost like 8 pounds just sweating alone, and told myself, get the fuck out there, go fight. All these people are out here to support you. I have my wife out here. My corners came out all this way. So we were not going to come out and not fight this time. Like, we were going to come out, put on a performance, and I said, win or lose, I'm going to go out there and give it everything I have. So I'm glad I had the people in my corner to tell me in that last round, push it, motherfucker. Like, get out there and push.